الآن يعني السؤال
Understand? And why it happened? Because the Holy Quran itself has prophesied that the Yahud will be given one more chance, and that is an exceptional chance which will be given to Yahud. لفیفہ کا لفظ جہاں آتا ہے نا yet this is why I said Hazrat Muslim's book should be read in totality and repeatedly to understand the meaning. The Yahud cannot rule on their own. They are dependent on the rule of America and European countries. As long as they are under their canopy, they will rule, not independently. All the conspiracy against the Palestinians succeeded not because of the Yahud's own power, but because of the power of the Christians, with whom they are hanging like a chandelier. If they leave them, they will break and be shattered to pieces. So, in this sense, Hazrat Muslim is saying, from them there will be no malakiyat, independent sovereignty. Even if today the Christians power decide that the rule of Israel is the Jews, or Israel should come to an end, it will come to an end like that. Nothing can be done by the Jews. So that is why they understand this. And they are afraid that once the Christendom turns against them once again, they will be destroyed like they have always been destroyed by the Christians. So Christians have the malukiyat. Look at their history of persecution. Throughout European history, they were persecuted during the Black Death by the Christians. They were persecuted in Spain by the Christians. They were persecuted in Germany by the Christians. So Christians hold the power of sovereignty, not they. The moment the Christians decide to lift their canopy from over the Jews, they will turn into nothing. And they can still be punished. The Jews are afraid of it. That is why they are attempting to change the history. First of all, I came across this, I didn't notice, but immediately I knew something was happening. Once I delivered it was in a question-answer session where some very important people from America, different walks of life, the best of surgeons and doctors and professors, they were all gathered. It was a very enlightened company. I spoke about the crucifixion of Jesus and the participation of the Jews in that crucifixion. A Jewish professor, or whatever he was, he stood up, shot up, and said, "This is wrong. Why are you misrepresenting history?" I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "Jews had no part to play whatsoever in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ." So I was alerted. Then I told Ahmadis to be aware of this and find out, read the literature concerned. Now it has transpired that the Jews all over the world have acquired this as a policy to dissociate them from the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. They're writing books and legendary mythical books, but continuously they're bombarding the Christian mind that it were not Jews who had anything to do with the cruelty done to Jesus Christ.
The Pope says that.
What?
The Pope declared that.
Now this is the second part. The Christendom is at one with them now.
Yes.
They have turned the issue into a racial issue now. They say it is not the supremacy of Judaism or Christianity. We belong to you now. We are white. And you are white. So together we should rule the world and we are working as your representative to keep the nasty things under command and to keep them to their size. So this is also written. I have got record with me, published record, that the Americans were told by the Israelites, and this is recorded by the chief intelligence officers of United States, that they were told that you give us the dirty work of destroying this and that, the blame will be ours and the cause will be yours. See? That is how they are equating with each other, so that whatever they may do to the world, if they have any malintention, the white people, Christian white people, will be defrauded. They will think that they are serving their cause. But it will be the Jewish interest will be served. That will be served. So that is why they have dissociated themselves completely from any cruelty done to Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. So we are dealing with a very, what should I say, if not crooked, very cunning world.
The Jews themselves say it often.
They say it openly.
We are dependent on them.
That's right.
They say it.
But they're ruling despite the fact that they're under. This is their cleverness.
Can't we, if we try to see if there is a certain punctuation in this sentence, we may understand it in a different way. That they may have a temporary possession, but that will not be forever. If we read it,
this is mentioned in the Quran clearly, what you're saying. It is mentioned in the Quran very clearly, that their possession will be temporary, until they misbehave. إذا جاء وعد الأولى ووعد الآخرة وقلنا من بعده لبني إسرائيل اسكنوا الأرض فإذا جاء وعد الآخرة جئنا بكم لفيفا. إذا جاء وعد الآخرة جئنا بكم لفيفا applies to this bringing Jews together. وبالحق أنزلناه وبالحق نزل وما أرسلناك إلا مبشرا ونذيرا. Now this applies to the age of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because this verse supports this view, that this is a promise and we will keep this promise. So how could Hazrat Masih mean anything contrary to this? This is the principle how Masih Islam's writing should be understood. He can never say anything contrary to the clear-cut statements of the Quran. He never does. So what he means is what I have just told you. In essence, despite the fact that we think they have got the supremacy and sovereignty, they still do not have it. They are dependent on the Christian world and the Christian might. And this had to be so because the Holy Quran also makes it a definite promise which cannot change. This promise was made to Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. Ila yawm al-qiyamah, your people will remain ascendant over the non-believers. So this is the meaning of Hazrat Masih. He draws this from that verse. That if Jews were given independent sovereignty, what would be the meaning of that verse?
وجعل الذين اتبعوك فوق الذين كفروا
وجعل الذين اتبعوك فوق الذين كفروا إلى يوم القيامة. So that fork continues, unbroken, not even for a while. This is what I'm saying. And that fork is what makes Masih Islam understand that the real sovereignty is not there, but of their masters, which are Christians. Got it?
جاء في دعوة الأمير للمسلم موعود رضي الله عنه عندما أرسل رسالة لملك أفغانستان. هناك أيضا جاء نبأ للمسيح الموعود أن اليهود يرجعون إلى الأرض المقدسة.
He was himself told by Allah, you see. It was so clear. So to understand Muslim Islam, this is the unfailing principle. You must know that he is speaking on behalf of the Quran. So if you think of a different verse, you may be misled. If you read the right verse, then you understand the meaning. So this is the verse which I point out, which is a promise to Jesus Christ that your followers will gain ascendancy till the day of judgment, or day of resurrection, or day of doomsday, I should say. And there is no break in this, no let. And we don't find any. Despite their might, still they are dependent. So the Muslim Islam is speaking of that sovereignty. They don't have that sovereignty.
كففت عن بني إسرائيل.
الذين كفروا. Does it mean those who كفروا with Isa?
No. Also the second Isa, who will come.
The second Isa.
It also applies when Masih Islam comes,
And it is in fact now
then the second manifestation begins.
quite clear.
And this is a promise with us, inshallah. We will see fulfilled.
الوحي
Whatever they may try, they will never be given true ascendancy over Ahmadiyyat. In the beginning, of course, the opponents of Masih were dominant. And this promise was not belied. But within 3 centuries, it was made clear that God had not forgotten his promise. Before it reaches its summit, its ultimate fulfillment, you may see domination, but temporary domination. This is what is happening with us. And we are fast moving into the century where we will begin to gain domination over all the other Muslims because this is a promise of God. Thank you for pointing out this, right?
الوحي اللي سيدنا أحمد عليه السلام جاء كففت عن بني إسرائيل. الله سبحانه وتعالى سيدنا المسيح الموعود عليه السلام كففت عن بني إسرائيل.
That's right.
يعني في هذا الزمان في هذا الوقت.
Of course, that's right, but we have presented enough evidence from the Quran of what Muslim Islam means. So because we don't have much time left now, you better convey this to him with reference to all these verses which I have explained.
Inshallah.
Right?
Inshallah.